Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time of day it is, I pray that when you receive this message, your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit are all poised to hear, accept, and respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. In my last communication on spiritual integrity, I started out with an anecdote, a hypothetical, really, about, a dance ensemble. You got 10 people and only 2 of the 10 are really engaged and focused and, going hard on some kind of a collective vision. They're putting all their natural gifts and talents to work towards a goal that optimizes their service and also brings out the greatest range of opportunities for the other members of the team. And when you have that kind of a setup, it's pretty difficult to maintain a standard of excellence. It's really hard for folks to show up and know that, hey, every single rehearsal is going to be on. Every single performance is going to be on. No matter where we show up or what we're doing, we're going to be uniform and we're going to have that energy of preparedness about us, right? When you only got 1/5 of the team who's really engaged, it's you might have 1 week on and 1 week off, and 1 week on and 1 week off. Or it's going to be real choppy, and that's pretty much what you see when you look around the spectrum of Orisha lifestyle. Not necessarily within one group, but if you go from one sector to the next, you go from one house to the next, one lineage to the next, one tradition to the next, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a certain level of quality. There's no guarantee that you're always going to run into someone who's going to go all out for you. There's going to be an environment that is just, It's just where you get that sense that, hey, they're not holding back. They're giving me the best, right? You cannot guarantee that. You can't even expect that at this point. And honestly, that's a problem. That's a problem, right? And so, for me, that reflects a willingness. We are collectively, we're willing to compromise quality. We're willing to lose. We're willing to be mediocre just so that everybody can floss. We're willing to, have a substandard product. We're willing to have a substandard overall tradition in exchange for everybody being able to have the exterior appearance of being a player. Everybody's got beads, everybody's got pots, everybody's got a title, everybody can wear a gele, everybody can wear agbada, everybody can do everything that everybody else does and call themselves whatever they want to call themselves, even though there's no substance to any of those activities. And so that's the situation, and it's an unacceptable situation, but we also have to look at remedies, right? And so we went into the remedies also and talked about the key here is creating experiences. We got to create some experiences that will shift our values, right? And we need to create experiences for the priests and priestesses that will shift the values so that, people are comfortable and excited about being involved in activities that challenge them, that push them to go beyond their comfort zone, and that make it okay for us to be constantly learning and sharing and growing. And we also need to create experiences for the devotees and the clients, wherein the client can expect, the devotees can expect wherever they go There's going to be a certain standard of excellence. The quality of the materials that they get, the quality of the services that they receive, the quality of the instruction that they get is going to be at a certain level, right? Once we can do that, then the people, the clients and devotees are going to be more loyal, and the priest and priestesses are going to be more excited. They're going to be more enthusiastic about what they do. So what I want to do today is I want to go a little bit further into that. I want to dig a little bit deeper into what I'm talking about when it comes to the experiences for both priests and priestesses, as well as the experiences for devotees and clients. Now, when I'm talking about experiences for priests and priestesses, our objective, if we really and truly want to experience spiritual integrity, let me back up a little bit, because the goal here, the assumption here, is that we do want to enjoy integrity. Integrity being wholeness. We do want our spiritual community to be intact. We want all the parts of the community to be turned on, to be engaged, to be lit up, to be enthusiastic, to be focused. You understand what I'm saying? You know, that energy that comes when people are really aware of what they're doing, and they're doing it with purpose and intention. There's a different feeling you get, right? Right now, we're not having that feeling. Right now, all we've got is the ambition to do better than the next person. I have more money than you. I have more clients than you. I have more cars than you. I have a bigger house than you. Right now, that's all people are aspiring to. The priests and the priestesses and the clients and devotees alike. Everybody just wants to look like they're doing better in the material sense. And if you have that, then great. You understand what I'm saying? That is not what I'm talking about as far as a viable goal for a spiritual community. In a spiritual community, it is optimized and is doing its best work when everyone is really trying to do their for real best in real life. They're trying to be the best people they can be. And the quality of their experience in the process of achieving their best is also very high. It's very joyful. It's very meaningful. It's very guided and principled, right? And so there's more I could say about that, and some of the implications of the problems that we're having, you know, as a result of lacking integrity. But what I really want to do is, you know, I think there's enough that's been said about that. You can kind of discern what some of the gaps are. What I really want to do in this series is I want to focus on what we need to do. Okay, what are the approaches? What are the specific strategies we need to implement? Maybe some tactics that we need to apply that will allow us to increase our spiritual community integrity as a community. So, with that being said, first thing I want to zero in on is the experiences. Experiences for priests and priestesses. When you look around, we have, you know, before the quarantine hit, there were a variety of different kinds of conferences and gatherings where we were bringing together priests and priestesses to do, I don't know what we would call it, conferences, to gather and talk and be together as devotees and priests and priestesses. But you also notice that during those events, in those activities, isn't it striking that there aren't any built-in training opportunities, right? Anytime we have any kind of an Orisha gathering that brings together priests and priestesses from different parts of a region or different parts of the world, what needs to happen is we need to do things like provide training opportunities. Hey, here's Yoruba language. Every time we get together for the Orisha Congress, there are going to be some intensive language workshops. These workshops might Focus on language that you use in the temple, right? How you identify all the different items that go into a shrine, and how you say, bring me the palm oil, bring me the alligator peppers, put them here, put them there, sit down, stand up. Being able to give basic commands. That's something that should be a part of the learning opportunity, part of the gathering experience. We should be doing things like creating articulation agreements. When people gather, we should be doing rituals together, as candomblé, santeria, vodun, etc., and watching people work, not to critique it, but to understand what happens and identify correlations, right? So that there's an articulation agreement that says that when the candomblé people do this ritual, it's the equivalent of this ritual in the Santero or Lukumi tradition. It's the equivalent of this in the Vodun tradition. It's the equivalent of this in Isheshe. When you all refer to this ritual, it is called this in this. Each of the other traditions basically create a matrix, right? That breaks down the understanding and allows everybody to quickly reference these different practices, different terminology, etc. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be happening. It needs to be welcomed. It needs to be supported and encouraged. And people should be rewarded for participating in those kinds of activities amongst the priests and priestesses, so that somebody can take great pride in breaking down the similarities and the differences between the different traditions, right? We haven't gotten to that point. Here we are, I don't know, almost 20 years into our internet experience. And today you can see people arguing and feuding and quarreling over the same silly material arguments that they were arguing about 20 years ago. The same. People are acting like this is their very first time coming into contact with the different traditions, and we can't figure out how to to reconcile the differences. It's still this competition that, I'm better than you, ours is better than yours. Therefore, we should have more clients. We should have more money. We should have more, right? But for what purpose? For what purpose? What happens when you get all the clients? What happens when you get all of the money? What happens when you build all the houses and you have all the cars? Then what? Then what? You see, what should happen is, as your power increases, then so should your leadership. And you should be taking us 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 10 steps closer to helping to bring about the good condition for all humanity. But we aren't even in that part of the conversation, right? But that's what the goal ought to be. As your power increases, you take on a greater responsibility for serving humanity. Okay? So as we create these experiences that I'm describing, what will happen is, at the very least, in the very beginning, what we do is we create an environment wherein, as I said, the priests and the priestesses are excited about what they do. They're excited about what they know. They're excited about interacting with one another. We're creating a culture of learning, a culture of growth, a culture of expansion, a culture of maturity amongst the priests and priestesses, where people are excited about sharing with one another because they know that the more they give, the more they receive. That's the nature of learning. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you teach, the more you learn, right? And so that's the kind of experience that we need to create for the priests and the priestesses, because they are the embodiment of the institution. They are the ones who represent who we are and what we do. And it isn't just a question of trying to gauge whether or not they have whatever the running definition of Iwakwele is, right? It is a question of how engaged are they in the learning and teaching process? How much of themselves are they really able to give to this process and to this tradition? Right? How much can they really give? You see, right now, they can't really give all of themselves. Everyone is so inhibited. Everyone is so pent up. Everyone is so repressed because we haven't created an environment where it's not only okay, but it's encouraged and required that you bring your full self into this environment. We as priests and priestesses have not created a space wherein it is obligatory that you bring your full self, mind, body, and spirit into this environment and give all that you have to us. We give to one another fully, without hesitation, without inhibition. We're sharing with one another openly, and we're correcting one another, and we're building one another up. That's what the priests and the priestesses need in order to bring out the best in this tradition. Okay? Conversely, the kinds of experiences that we need to create for the clients and the devotees is one of quality. So you can imagine if the first set of experiences becomes institutionalized, and as they become more and more successful, then it's much easier for us as priests and priestesses to create high quality experiences for the devotees and the clients. Within our respective houses, if you will, or in our temples, in our spiritual communities, we're going to be showing up better because we've learned more, we've expanded more, right? We've been amongst our colleagues and our peers, and we've, been able to fully express ourselves on a deeper level. We've realigned ourselves with our biggest vision and the vision of our tradition, and we're harmonized with that vision. That's going to naturally emanate. And our students, our godchildren, and our clients are going to feel that light. They're going to feel that energy coming off of us, right? But in addition to that, we as priests and priestesses will be more likely to create higher quality experiences for those people, for our clients and our devotees. The products that we produce are going to be of a higher quality, right? That's what the clients need. That's what the devotees need. They need someone who is going to communicate the nature and the structure of the rituals and the ceremonies, the icons, the altars, etc. They need experiences that are going to be more easily understood. They need to come out of divination experiences and ceremonial experiences very clear about what has just happened and why they feel the way they do, right? The clients and the devotees need experiences wherein the quality of their products, if it's an altar that they received or an icon that they've received, or they've been fully initiated into a priesthood, they need for those experiences to be of the highest quality possible. And when I talk about quality, I'm talking about both the materials that go into their rituals and ceremonies, but also the logic of those rituals and ceremonies. For example, they need to, from the very beginning, understand the connectivity between the orisha that they're serving and the natural elements, and how we're going to do things in a sustainable way that doesn't contaminate the environment that we claim to worship. We're going to make the connection between your psychological, emotional, intellectual functions and the orisha that you're serving. If we're serving this orisha for the purposes of bringing about peace in your life, well, then we're going to go about this ritual and this ceremony in a peaceful way. And we're going to facilitate a peaceful experience for you. And we're going to give you some of the tools that are necessary for you to go forward in peace. Not only to conduct rituals and ceremonies, but for you to actually be a more peaceful person and to arrange your life in such a way that it minimizes conflict and strain in your life, and to prepare yourself for when you meet strenuous, difficult situations, you are prepared to meet those situations and respond to those situations in a way that's congruent with the rituals and the ceremonies, right? Those are the kinds of experiences that the clients and the devotees need very, very deeply. Those kinds of experiences will intensify the sense of trust, right? It increases our credibility. Both of us as priests and priestesses, but also it increases the credibility of our tradition. Say, oh, this is truly a wise tradition, right? As the clients and the devotees are able to have these kinds of experiences, they're going to come out of those experiences with a very real sense that this is a wise and compassionate tradition. The contradictions are minimal. Everything that I'm experiencing, everything that's being said, everything that I'm doing is congruent and consistent with the mission of this tradition. I can believe in this. I can have faith in this. I can relax and be confident that what we're doing here is real. Not only is it authentic, not only is it done in the right way, but it is real. We're doing what we say we're doing. Those are the experiences that we need to provide for our clients and for our devotees in order for our tradition to be steeped in spiritual integrity. Now, in the Orisha Lifestyle Academy, this is essential to our practice and our method. We are constantly working in our literature, in our free offerings, all the things that you find on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, etc. In the back, the logic, the reasoning behind all of the messaging and all of the approach is to try to create these experiences for people in smaller and smaller parts. Somehow or another, the goal is always to provide these sorts of experiences for the clients, for the devotees, for the priests, for the priestesses. Okay? And so the reason we do it this way is because we're looking for leaders. I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for people who know, so that we can find out how we can optimize your natural gifts and talents in service to something greater than yourself. We can help you to start living the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you're destined to serve. Please visit us at orishalifestyle.com or obafemio.com. Aboro aboye, aboshishe.